Jack Johnson, a man who should have been celebrated for his remarkable athleticism, was instead jailed for being black.
Without Jack Johnson, we don't have Muhammad Ali and Mike Tyson and Sugar Ray and all these great icons that we know by name. And just because he was early on in history doesn't mean his story shouldn't be told.
Jack Johnson, born in 1878, began dominating the world of boxing at age 30, becoming the first ever black heavyweight boxing champion.
Johnson moves in to finish it.
Being black and being the world champ during the Jim Crow era would be Johnson's biggest fight. In 1912, a vicious blow. He was sentenced to prison for dating a white woman.
Frankly, a serious wrong was committed.
The story of Jack Johnson resonated with Arizona Senator John McCAIN, who was a young boxer himself at the Naval Academy.
There's a difference between not approving someone's lifestyle and railroading them and putting them in prison. And if there was ever an injustice done in American, at least the realm of sports, it certainly is what was done to Jack Johnson.
Johnson is always the first to enter.
McCAIN calls this a racial injustice. He's tried 3 separate times to convince a sitting president to erase Johnson's prison sentence from the record books. Why is something like this even a challenge to overcome?
It's been one of the more confounding aspects of my political career because, as you say, there's no one who disagrees with the fact that this individual, because of his race, was sentenced to prison, a gross injustice.
Did he want to duck? The racism that he faced and how he was criminalized for just loving, you know, a woman that didn't look like his color. So, yes, that needs to be told.
Pastor Warren Stewart is an up-and-coming civil rights leader in Phoenix. And when he read about Jack Johnson's story, he instantly felt a deep connection.
One of my first interests or crushes in high school, she was white and her dad was prejudiced. And I walked to the door and he said, "You can't date my daughter because you're black." That was in the 90s.
Stewart, so inspired by Jack Johnson, he began boxing.
Good.
His coach isn't a random boxing instructor either. Django auditioned to play Jack Johnson in the 1970 film The Great White Hope, a biracial love story viewed by the laws as criminal.
You shouldn't throw it in their face, I'm begging you.
Jack Johnson is a serious piece of sport history that's missing and it shouldn't be.
Jeffries collapses from a combination of blows.
I promise you this, I will not give up until Jack Johnson is pardoned. Not just because of Jack Johnson, but because of a repudiation of an era where people were discriminated against and harmed and sometimes lynched because of the color of their skin.
This is personal for Senator John McCAIN. This is something that is very dear to his heart, and he has tried to get President George W. Bush and President Obama to grant a presidential pardon. Both declined, and now McCAIN is trying President Trump to pardon Jack Johnson posthumously.